The scales of justice. Silas Thorne wasn't born a monster. He was forged in the cold fire of injustice. A brilliant, introverted courtroom sketch artist, he spent decades silently witnessing the failures of the system he revered. He saw predators walk free on technicalities, watched grieving families crumble under the weight of acquittals, and meticulously sketched the smug relief on faces he knew were guilty. The frustration curdled inside him, a slow poison turning idealism into something dark and rigid. The twist from the beginning: Silas Thorne didn't target the innocent. He hunted the guilty who had escaped justice. His victims weren't random. They were meticulously chosen criminals, rapists, murderers, corrupt executives who'd shattered lives and walked away unscathed. He wasn't driven by sadism, but by a terrifying, warped sense of retributive justice. He saw himself not as a killer, but as the final arbiter, the scales finally balanced. The method, the artist's touch. Silas used his deep knowledge of forensics and the habits of the powerful and paranoid. His weapon of choice was a scalpel, precise, surgical. Each kill was planned like a macabre performance. He would leave behind not trophies, but accusations. Victim 1, Evan Rostov, acquitted of corporate manslaughter killing 12 factory workers. Found in his penthouse, posed at his desk, Silas had meticulously recreated the factory floor blueprints, highlighting the safety flaw Rostov ignored, pinned to his chest. Victim 2, Marcus the Eel Devroe, walked on a technicality after a brutal gang murder. Discovered in a derelict warehouse, the specific location where key evidence was mishandled. Silas had carved the name of Devroe's victim on his forearm. Victim 3, Dr. Eleanor Vance, accused but never charged in the suspicious overdose deaths of 3 patients for inheritance, found in her private clinic's operating theater. Silas had placed vials of the lethal drug cocktail beside her, and a detailed timeline of her suspicious patients' deaths was taped to the light above. The media dubbed him the Arbiter. Public reaction was a dangerous mix of horror and unsettling fascination. While authorities condemned the brutality, whispers of grim satisfaction echoed in neighborhoods terrorized by the victim's past crimes. "He only kills the monsters who got away," became a chilling refrain. The pursuit, the brothers' burden. Leading the task force was Detective Silas Thorne, driven, relentless, haunted by the escalating brutality. He saw the patterns, the meticulous planning, the deep knowledge of legal failures, the symbolic accusations. The scalpel precision nagged at him, reminding him of his estranged brother, Silas, his obsessive attention to detail in his art. A chilling realization dawned during a late-night review of Vance's crime scene photos. The angle of a sketch left near the body. It was unmistakably Silas style. The victim list solidified it. Silas had sketched all 3 in court during their trials. Confronting Silas was agony. Eris found him in his cramped studio, walls plastered not with landscapes, but with courtroom sketches of the acquitted, annotated with legal failures and victim names. Silas didn't deny it. He spoke calmly, passionately, about systemic rot, about lives destroyed without consequence. Someone had to balance the scales, Eris. The law failed. I didn't. The capture, the flaw in the design. Silas was meticulous, but his warped morality contained a critical flaw. His next target was Richard Kane, a billionaire who'd orchestrated a massive environmental cover-up, poisoning a town, escaping liability through political connections. Silas infiltrated Kane's heavily guarded estate. However, Kane wasn't alone. He had a young maid, Maria, a recent immigrant, terrified and hiding in a closet during Silas's silent approach. Silas saw her, innocent, collateral damage. His twisted code demanded she be spared. He hesitated just long enough for Maria to see his face clearly as he retreated after silencing Kane with the same brutal efficiency. Maria survived. Terrified but determined, she worked with the police sketch artist. The resulting image, combined with Eris's agonizing confirmation and a trace of rare pigment used in Silas's sketches found at the Kane scene, led to Silas's arrest at his studio. He offered no resistance, only a weary resignation. The trial and sentencing, the ultimate irony. The trial was a media circus. Silas, representing himself with chilling intellect, laid out the crimes of his victims in excruciating detail. He didn't plead insanity, he argued necessity. He forced the court and the public to confront the failures he sought to rectify. Some saw a dark avenger, most saw a dangerous fanatic. The jury rejected his defense. He was found guilty on multiple counts of first-degree murder. The judge, while acknowledging the unique and profoundly disturbing circumstances, sentenced him to life in prison without the possibility of parole. As the gavel fell, Silas showed no emotion. He simply nodded, as if acknowledging a verdict delivered by a higher, equally flawed court. The prison, living the failure. Silas Thorne entered the maximum security wing of Blackstone Penitentiary. The irony was thick. He was surrounded by the very type of criminal he despised, many guilty of the same kinds of violence his victims had committed, but caught and punished by the system he deemed broken. Some saw him as a legend, others a target. His warped sense of justice found no purchase here. He spent his days in the prison library, reading legal text and philosophy, sketching the bleak prison yard from his cell window. The scales he sought to balance remained eternally tipped, not by his hand, but by the very system he defied. He became a ghost haunting the system he tried to destroy, a permanent, silent testament to its failures and the monstrous path of self-appointed vengeance. The final sketch in his prison notebook, a pair of scales, one side overflowing with gore, the other terrifyingly empty.